15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
My dad used to say that.
Sure, yeah. It's from Geico.
Yeah, whenever I would ask my dad for life advice, he'd sit me down and say, son, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. And look at me now, a well-adjusted adult with a drawer full of plastic bags I'll never use.
Okay, I'm confused. Was your dad a licensed Geico agent?
Nah, he was just a real good dad.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Comedy Off-Broadway and Lexington Green welcomes Bob and Tom Show regular Greg Hahn, February 25th through the 27th. Then from MTV's Wildin' Out, catch DC Young Fly, March 5th through the 7th, and March 18th through the 20th from Comedy Central and the Joe Rogan Experience. Don't miss the hilarious Mark Normand. For showtimes and tickets to all shows, call 859-271-JOKE or visit ComedyOffBroadway.com.
Comedy Off-Broadway.
Talk Radio 1080. This is Kentucky Sports Radio, presented by Stockton Mortgage. Now, here's Matt Jones.
Welcome, everyone. Kentucky Sports Radio, Friday, March the 19th. I am Matt Jones here. It is the start of the NCAA tournament on a beautiful, somewhat cold day in Lexington, Kentucky. We are here at the KS Bar and Grill, and you can give us a shout to the Clark's Pump and Shop phone line, 502-571-1080. A-Vision Glass text machine is 772-774-5254, and this edition sponsored by the TJ Smith Law Office. If you call TJ, he'll make them pay. I've got Ryan and Drew here in Lexington. Shannon is in Louisville. The tournament starts in 2 hours and 15 minutes. And Ryan, I am very excited, even though Kentucky's not in it. My favorite 4 days of sports begin today.
Today and tomorrow are the two. Usually something crazy happens, some upsets, some underdogs are going to win. But I got into it last night, watching the
Great games last night.
Yeah.
All 4 of them, Drew. 3 of the 4 games came down the final shot. They were all close. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I'm still I'm having trouble with my emotions. I was watching UCLA Michigan State last night, and I kept ignoring the game to think about how Kentucky should be in it and getting angry. So I'm hoping today I got that out of my system.
Yeah.
He can enjoy moving forward, because I don't know about you all, but I still have a lot of sorrow that they're not included in
Me
this.
too, but I do like that you and I both are wearing UK gear, even though we're not in it. I wore an Oregon State hat because they're playing Tennessee, and I'm for the Beavers.
Sure.
So I'm wearing my Oregon State hat and Kentucky gear, and I'm going to sit here all day and all through the course of the day, starting at 12:15. You come in, you pick the score of the games that are about to happen, and whoever gets the closest wins $100, starting with the first game all the way through tonight and tomorrow.
Your selections have to be in before tip-off.
Have to be in before tip-off. So coming at 11, you can do the 12:15, 12:40 for the 4 early games. You get here by 12:20, then you only do 3 of them.
Yeah.
You get here by 1:16, you can only do 2 of them, and so on. And then once we get the 1:45 game start, then we start with the 3 o'clock game.
Gotcha. Perfect scenario. I love it. I love the fact that I think we have a good environment in here.
I've decided, Shannon, that I'm going to let Ryan and Drew play.
Oh,
okay. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm making the executive decision because I want them to have a chance to win. I know Ryan won't win anyway.
That's true.
So I'm going to let them have a chance. So before the show ends, we'll make our picks.
Okay.
Things, I will tell you this, people are running around crazy right here. I
Yeah,
think
they
we
are.
got here this morning and some stuff didn't work, like some utilities. And, of course, today is not a good day for that to happen.
No, it's not.
So Monique, our manager, is kind of running around. And Ramel Bradley's coming here in the second hour. And he has, of course, as Ramel Bradley, a camera crew here to film him.
They're here early, set up, ready to go, an hour early.
So shout out to camera crews, Drew.
Shout out to Smooth. Can't wait to see him. It's been a while.
Yes, should be fun. Well, I want to start. I mean, I had a lot of things I was going to start with, but then, sometimes the story comes across the wire, and you say, first of all, we were going to do the London Corbin debate at 10:45. Talked to the Corbin mayor yesterday. She was in. London mayor, Shannon forgot to call.
I called him this morning, though. It's not off yet.
Yeah, but you can't call him this morning
Why not?
when the debate is at 10:40.
Why not? Well, you don't need no preparation for a debate. If you're a good mayor, you get on there and you just debate.
Shannon forgot, Ryan, which normally that would – but, I'm stress-free, Matt, now.
It's March Madness, Matt.
It's March Madness, Matt, so I'm not going to lose my cool. He forgot, so he's trying to get him this morning. So if you know the London mayor, we have the Corbin mayor says they'll do it at 2. I'm not bringing the Corbin mayor on unless the London mayor comes too.
Okay.
But if you have the London mayor, try to get a hold of the London mayor since Shannon forgot and we'll see if we can get that in today.
I know we had a listener call the London mayor that he knows him, left my name and phone number to call, and I haven't heard from him either.
Yeah.
Who's the London mayor again? Arvis?
Tom Rudder.
Tom Rudder.
Not Tom
All
Rudder.
right, Rudder. So, Tom, we'd love to hear from you.
His name's Troy.
Troy Rudder?
Okay,
Yeah.
but Tom is his brother. Tom, tell Troy Rudder that we would love to hear from you at 1040 about the Corbin London. But we've got to start with this story out of Meade County.
Oh, I love this story.
WLKY is reporting that the Meade County baseball team has been told they've been given an ultimatum in Meade County. The baseball team must either cut all of their mullets off or they must stop playing.
Yes.
According to WLKY, a parent of a player on the team complained that the team rules say no one can have hair below their hairline. Or I guess that wouldn't make sense.
I think it said it had to be above the ears.
Above the ear. Above the ears? You mean below the ear? What? Above the bottom of the ears?
Like the top of the ear, like a crew cut, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. But you got to have hair below the ear.
Well, I mean, it can go down in the back.
But that's what a mullet does, is go down in the back.
I don't know. That's the article I read said.
I don't think that's what it said. But regardless, the point is they can't have a mullet. And a mother of one of the players complained, and now apparently the rule is cut your mullet off or don't play. Now, the Meade County School District was called about it, and they said we do not comment on student discipline. So they certainly didn't deny it. Now, I want to, as a little side note, you may remember, those of you that have read Mitch Please, I wrote about Meade County mullets in the book.
Yeah.
When I went to Meade County, if you remember, we did the show at the Meade County High School. Uh-huh. Somebody there set us up, which was very nice, and I noticed that literally every male that came through had a mullet. All of them. And I joked about, I thought Buckhorn had all the mullets. Yep. Meade County, and I even wrote in the book, they should be the Meade County mullets. So when we're talking about a mullet in Meade County, it's almost like a potato in Idaho. I think it's intrinsic, Drew, to who they are.
Yeah, I remember you writing about this.
I remember when I did the show, I talked about it. It was just like one mullet kid after another.
Yeah, I remember
What do you
that.
make of this rule in Meade County, no mullets for the baseball team?
I hate it, and if it were me, it would make me want to grow out my hair more. And I see it more, my understanding of the baseball team rule, I see it more as a baseball problem. Baseball, like, don't the Yankees, you can't have a mustache or something?
Yeah, they have a rule
It's
like
all
that.
baseball taking itself way too damn seriously, even at the high school level. So I start with blaming the sport of baseball, and then I move on to the principle of everyone else. I don't think they have any right telling a kid what they should do with their hair.
When did we decide that kids could be told what they could do with their hair in high school? You sometimes see this where they'll tell kids they can't have cornrows or something like that, which also I don't understand how they get to. Like, why do public high schools think that, like, they are there to tell people what kind of haircuts they can get?
I have very strong feelings about this.
Okay, wait a minute, Shannon. Very strong feelings.
Yep.
Hang on. Here he comes.
The people at Meade County, they can't allow one woman, a Karen, to dictate what they do.
Okay, now what is my mom's name again?
No disrespect to your mom. We love your mom.
All right, thank you.
But I can't believe they're going to bow down to one mom who doesn't like the look of the guys wearing mullets. And does Meade County not watch professional baseball now? The long hair's the thing. That's the thing in baseball. They all have long hair. If it happens to be a mullet, shut up, man. This is ridiculous, trying to tell me I got to cut my hair to play baseball.
You're very passionate.
It made me so mad that this mom is going to call in and complain.
So you don't like the Meade Cat? First of all, do you know it's a mom? It said a parent.
I thought you said a woman.
I didn't say anything. I said it was a parent.
Yeah. Well, you did say a woman. That's why I assumed it was a woman, which makes it even more upsetting to me.
Why does it make it more if it's a woman?
No, there's a parent. Just one parent. Okay. If it was a dude, I'd be mad at the dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't like, let's say, Meade County mullet mom?
Not at all. At all. And shame on you, Meade County School Corporation, for bowing down to her.
School corporation?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a corporation. I think it's a school. Maybe you mean school. Oh, we've had this conversation before. In Indiana, they call them corporations.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Here we call. Yes, I've made fun of you, but for that before, and it turned out in Indiana you were right. In Kentucky, I think they're called school boards. But nevertheless, it seems to me to be a rule that has no rational basis. Like, why do you need to tell kids
cut their hair to play baseball?
We were told that in
anything.
college. When I played at Bellarmine, we had a strict rule. You couldn't have long hair or anything.
Baseball's full of itself.
Yeah.
I understand, but that's what I'm saying. Why need it? Like, what is the there is no good rationale for that.
If the rule was in place before the season and they did it.
But let's say it was. Who cares?
I agree. I totally agree with you.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue the rule doesn't exist, but there just because something exists doesn't mean it should, right? So if I'm Meade County, here's what I'm going to say. I think these kids should strike. Tell them they're like somebody put in the Twitter section in my post about it. Some things are worth fighting for. And you can't allow a school district to tell you to cut your hair. And the thing is, the power of the collective is always more powerful than the individual. It's why I'm a union person. Unions need to exist because you got to have a collective. The individuals, it's hard to win. But if you're collective, if the whole team stands up and says, you know what, we won't play.
Yeah.
See what we going to do then, Meade County?
Yeah, what if the whole team just decide, okay, we're not playing over this ridiculous
So I'm
rule.
on their side. If the kids don't want to cut their hair, I'll buy a Meade County baseball shirt.
I will too.
And say, because there's this idea that we can just tell everybody what I thought that you folks believed in freedom of speech. I keep hearing all this stuff about cancel culture, blah, 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 blah. There's a dude, and I deleted the tweet because I was a little mean to it. But there's a dude, he sent me a tweet. He had on a cut-off T-shirt. And he was like, rules are there, and if you don't like the rules, blah, 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 blah. And I looked, and his very next tweet was being angry that Dr. Seuss books are not getting published. And I was like, how can the same dude who's ranting about Dr. Seuss's family decide not to produce the books then say that you can tell kids to not cut their hair? How can the same dude have that opinion? And that's what I'm getting at.
Well, I'm really proud of WLKY for putting this story out there.
Well, I'm worried about WLKY.
Why is that?
Because I just clicked on the link of the story and the words all disappeared.
Oh, really?
Which makes me wonder, did they get pressure? Like, okay, so if I click on the link right now, WLKY.com, that I tweeted out, it's got Julie Dolan, it's got her picture, it says updated 9:40, and there are no words on the story.
Oh.
So what do we think happened? Do we think that maybe
they were forced to take it down?
But the video's still there, right?
I don't know if that's a video of the story. I think it's like a video of something else.
I watched her report.
And what's
Julie Dolan's?
And what did it say? I didn't watch her.
She basically what we've all pretty much been saying. It was a pretty short clip, but what I saw didn't really have words with it. I saw her news clip.
Okay, when I saw it had words, so maybe that's not as crazy as I thought. But
I love your idea of the whole baseball team. It's like, okay, fine, we just won't play.
Should we call the school?
It's a good idea. Yeah. See if we can get somebody to talk about it.
What do you think, Drew?
I don't know. What's our
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. What's our plan?
We're just going to say, let them have mullets and hang up?
Meade County Mullets. Change your nickname to the Mullets.
You think we shouldn't call and just say, we want mullets, bye.
And hang up.
Well, first of all, who do you call? Do you call the school board? Well, the school board's not there. Like, it's a group of people.
Right.
You call the superintendent?
He would be the one they would probably direct you to, I guess. I don't think the principal at Meade County has the authority to dictate how this is going to play
Shannon,
out.
what do you think?
I think
we call the superintendent.
I think we're wasting our time, but we can if you want to.
Why are we wasting our time?
Because what are we really going to do to change it? You think we're going to get on there and go, all right,
well, we're going to get
a public.
We're going to get a statement, right? Get him on record, Drew.
I'm in.
And then all the other media outlets have to say such and such said on Kentucky Sports Radio. We can get a good.
I mean, you already forgot to call the London mayor, Shannon. I feel like you got to be.
I emailed him last night. The guy should check his email.
Oh, you emailed him. Sorry, he sent a telegram.
What kind of mayor
last
doesn't
night
check his emails? But yeah, I mean, we could call
7
him
o'clock at night.
Well, yeah, you're 24/7 mayor.
How'd you get the London mayor's email? Where'd you get it?
Google.
Well, yesterday I'm pretty sure you gave us the wrong name. So
I did.
You emailed the wrong.
I sent it to Mayor Rudder.
I tried to save you.
He sent it a LinkedIn to the old mayor.
Ashton Reyes the third.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Ashton Reyes. Let me ask you a question: was Ashton Reyes the third ever the mayor?
I think at one point, I think he just got voted out by Mayor Rudder, who doesn't answer his emails.
Well, all right. I'm gonna sit here and think about whether or not what we do with Meade County.
Okay.
If I was a younger man, I'd say we just go to Meade County right now.
We should do
If
the
we
show
had
there.
somebody to drive us, I would just go there, but we don't. I've been to the Meade County High School before. We are going to the Meade County Fair with OVW Wrestling.
And our guys have mullets, so I hope you're ready for it.
It's true. If they're not
It'd
letting
be like a mullet
in.
fundraiser.
That's right. Well, no. We need funds for OVW. We're not to the charity
So
stage
what if
yet.
what if there's a guy on the soccer team next year that has a mullet? One guy.
I think he's out.
You think I'm going to let him play either?
This rule's going to – I'm going to make a prediction. Within 24 hours, they change this rule. I bet you money. You want to make a bet?
No.
Why not?
I don't want to bet.
Yeah, you're very – you lose all your money. 502-571-1080. The A-Vision Glass text machine, 772-774-5254. They say sunlight is the best disinfectant. The sunlight is on the mullets. They will be disinfected. We'll take a break. Be right back. This is KSL.
To talk to Matt Jones and the crew, call the Clark's Pump and Shop phone line at 502-571-1080 or 1-877-904-1080, or send us the Kentucky branded KSR tweet of the day by tweeting Matt at KY Sports Radio.
Darling, don't you go and cut your hair.
You're listening to Kentucky Sports Radio on Talk Radio 1080.
Welcome back, Kentucky Sports Radio. Kentucky Branded tweet of the day, 772-774-5254. Go to KentuckyBranded.com for your UK gear and your KSR gear. One person writes, I think Shannon was emailing with the mayor of London, England.
I did. I sent an email to Meghan Markle and Prince Charles and the entire royal family.
And so far, none of them have agreed to debate the mayor of
Can you
Corbin.
believe that?
That would get a lot of listens.
Yes.
I think it would as well. All right, so some clarification. The rule is from the Mullet County, from the Meade County baseball coach.
Okay.
So it is the Meade County baseball coach's rule.
That you can't.
So that's why it
have
only applies to them.
That's why I saw the whole school. All right, so who is the Meade County baseball coach?
I don't know.
Why don't you look it up?
All right, we'll look it up.
And we'll figure this out.
Rick
I knew it
Stansberry
was a baseball
from
issue.
Meade County.
See, again, what is it with you baseball people? You all are so you're so snotty, and you have your unwritten rules, and you can't have a mustache, and you can't pick your nose. Like, everything is like there's just all these rules, and I don't understand it.
I don't either. I mean, we had to wear black cleats. We couldn't wear white. We couldn't use eye black. We couldn't use pine tar.
This is why all the other sports are so fun.
That's exactly right. You realize that's why your sport is dying, is because you can't have a mullet. And imagine if Buckhorn didn't have mullets.
I want Meade County baseball team to have their mullets. I'm pro mullet.
I think it's go so far. What is the Meade County mascot? The Adam Edelins?
Tigers? Are they the Tigers?
I'm not sure.
I think they're the Tigers.
While you're looking that up,
I have an idea. Why don't everyone on the team clip on little mullets to the back of their hats if they don't already have a mullet and just stand with
for
them?
unity.
Yeah, it's
like
a little
that.
late in the game to grow a mullet. They could try, but you could clip some on.
Justin Ambergy is the coach.
That might be the coach.
Did you just not want to say his name? Why'd you hand that to me?
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to go ahead and
Why don't you say it?
throw it out there. Justin Ambergy.
Okay.
He was named head coach of Meade County High School baseball.
What year was that?
2017.
So we have no way of knowing for sure if he's still the coach. All right, 502-571 today. One person goes, Matt, you are the king of the KSR curse. Think about it. You wrote in your book about Meade County mullets. Now they can't have them. And you wrote about the Frosty Freeze, and last night it burned down.
Oh, my gosh, I saw that.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
That is, by the way.
That's kind of sad.
Well, first of all, it is very sad. May I also just say, though, maybe there is a real – like, we joke about it.
There's no doubt there is.
But that Frosty Freeze, for people who don't know, Elliott County in Sandy Hook, which is where Rocky Adkins is from, they have two people they are very proud of, Rocky Adkins and Keith Whitley. Like, those are the two.
Yeah.
Everything in that city is named for either Rocky Adkins or Keith Whitley. If you go to the Frosty Freeze, there's like no restaurants in Sandy Hook. There's like 3. And the Frosty Freeze has awesome burgers. And the food's great. But what I liked is you walk in and it is a museum to Keith Whitley. Mm-hmm. It's basically every piece of Keith Whitley memorabilia. It's just everywhere. It was the coolest place, right?
Yeah.
And last night it burned down.
Sad. Very
sad. And think about all that memorabilia that's probably gone.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, they had everything. Pictures, albums.
His guitar, like all kinds of stuff.
Clothes. I mean, it was a neat place to go to, whether you like Keith Whitley or not, just for the food was so good.
I love Keith Whitley. I'm hearing this for the first time. That's tragic.
That is awful.
Sure, they had all kinds of cool things in there.
That is a local, like, iconic plays.
It is.
And then it's awful. It made me really sad to see it. I mean, like, when we went around the state, we saw all these places, and I wrote about a few of them, and now to just go away.
Like you said, when you go to Elliott County, that's where you go.
Yeah, that's where they tell you to go. You go, where do you want to eat? Well, Frosty Freeze.
That's where you go.
So, sorry to the folks of Elliott County. If I wrote about you in the book, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm kind of being serious. Like,
there's no doubt there's a KSR curse.
It feels like, I don't know. Good luck to everyone who was
tread lightly.
Who was in it? Who's up first?
Steve.
Steve, what's up, Steve?
Well, I tell you, I got a stat line for you from last night's NCAA tournament, and I'll be running past you and see if you can guess who it is.
Steve, what is it? Go ahead.
23 points.
That's
4
Johnny
rebounds,
Juzang.
2
It's Johnny
assists,
Juzang.
40.
It's Johnny Juzang. Yes, Johnny Juzang.
Got it, baby. Yeah, I tuned in to watch that game, which turned out to be a really, really good game. And in spite of the fact that Johnny Juzang doesn't really move a lot on offense, and he doesn't really, do a whole lot of good defensive things, that son of a gun just stands in his spot and stands and waits, and they get the ball to him, and boom.
He had a good game. Down. He had a good game. He scored. Appreciate the call, Steve. He scored 23 last night, hit a big shot down the stretch. It looked like he got hurt at the end, although apparently they think he's going to be all right. But big game for Johnny Juzang. A lot of people watched it. What are your thoughts on Johnny Juzang playing well? UCLA won in overtime.
It just makes me more upset that he was not on the Kentucky team this year. Him and Jamal Baker all left, and before Jamal got hurt, he was playing really well. Both could have been on this team as a shooter.
He's also an example of why I don't understand when people say things like, we need to get all new play. Like, he averaged 2.9 points last year. He scores 23 in an NCAA tournament game this year. Drew, he's an example of why we got to keep some of these guys around, even if they didn't have good years here.
Yeah, and I don't think was the guy that anyone ran off. I think Cal really wanted him to come back. So I know people want to turn this into anti-Cal. I think Juzang was gone no matter what UK could have done.
He did. No,
it would have been great to have him on the team.
But I also think had he played a little more,
that's true,
then maybe he stays.
Yeah, you play him as a freshman, he'd maybe want to stick around.
So it was tough watching him play well, though, because you're like, we're not in, and he's going for big numbers. 502-571 today. We'll take a break. Be right back here at KSR. It's
the devil.
Grand Canyon University, a Christian university, is one of the largest and fastest growing universities in the country, offering over 200 engaging programs online. GCU integrates the free market system and its welcoming Christian worldview perspective into its academic programs and throughout our online campus. GCU's online students received over $100 million in scholarships in 2020. Visit gcu.edu/myoffer to see the scholarships you qualify for.
His place. I should have been a cowboy.
Welcome back to Kentucky Sports Radio, presented by Stockton Mortgage. Here's Matt Jones.
Best mullet of all time, this guy's in contention.
No doubt. Yep.
First of all, let's rank mullets. Best mullet of all time is Billy Ray Cyrus. Right?
Yes, has to be.
I mean, he
made it cool.
The Kentucky waterfall is the Kentucky waterfall because of him, right?
I don't know what you mean.
That's what some people call
a
mullet. It's like if you go in the rest of the country, some people call it a Kentucky waterfall.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Well,
because of Billy Ray Cyrus.
Well, I mean, I assume so because he had the biggest one. I like Toby's moment Toby cut his mullet off, he quit being cool. I didn't like him anymore. Who else had great mullets?
Pretty much anyone on your playlist in your outfit.
That's true.
Keith Whitley had a good one.
Yep.
Andre Agassi had a great one.
Andre Agassi. That's a really good call.
That is a good call.
Every time I think of Andre Agassi's hair, I think of the story of him at the French Open tanking a match because his wig was falling off.
Yeah. Yep. Start sliding around up there.
Shannon, a lot of wrestlers have mullets. What's the best wrestler mullet of all time? Beautiful Bobby Eaton.
Yeah, that was a good one. Brian Pillman had a good one.
Brian Pillman. Brian Pillman's kid has a mullet, too. He wrestled with us for a little while.
Yeah.
Brian Pillman Jr., he's got a mullet. He's got a good one, actually.
Yeah. Hulk Hogan was a skullet.
Hulk Hogan was a skullet. Nothing on top, everything in the bottom.
That's right.
Yeah. The best mullet, though, we're forgetting is the guy from Tiger King, Joe Exotic.
Oh, Joe Exotic.
Shannon.
Joe Exotic, that's a good call.
That's a real good call.
772-774-5254 if you have good mullets. I, by the way, have a this is what's great about this show. I am right now getting messages from a Meade County baseball player. Getting some inside info on all this.
Well, that's awesome. Little inside source.
Hopefully I'll have more.
Okay.
As the show.
The Green Wave, by the way, not the Tigers.
As the show goes on, hopefully we'll get some more info. All right, let's talk about the game last night. You had, for the first time ever, the HBC, the historically black colleges, won both their games. First time that's ever happened in the history of the NCAA tournament. Jackson State beat Appalachian State. Norfolk State beat Appalachian State.
Right.
Jackson State beat Mount St. Mary's.
Right.
Drake beat Wichita in what was the worst game I've ever seen. I mean, those two teams, whoever let them in should let them back out. That was a horrible game. But Michigan State UCLA was a great game. Michigan State should have won. They looked like us, up 6 with 2.5 minutes to go, and blew it and went to overtime and lost.
As I was watching the Drake Wichita State game, I just imagined the Louisville basketball team sitting there just like, are you kidding me? This is who you let in,
they
not
picked
us?
Drake. Drake was the last team in, so they picked Drake over Louisville.
Yeah.
And you sit there and watch that, and you say, Louisville probably beats Wichita State in that game, Drew.
Yeah, and I was watching that on a phone. It was bad basketball on a phone. It was the first game I saw of the tournament, so I didn't get really all the good March Madness feels out of that one.
What'd you think about Izzo and the dude at halftime?
I saw that. I just happened to be watching it. I stayed up till halftime, then left right after that happened. I mean, I know people were jumping all over Izzo for how he reacted, but what about how the dude reacted?
Well, I think they both reacted poorly.
Yeah, and then Izzo just kind of was trying to, I think, grab him, get him off the court and say, hey, let's don't do this out here.
Well, it started when he grabbed Izzo. First of all, it started when they were yelling at each other.
Yeah.
Then I think Izzo grabbed his arm, and then he shoot him away, and then he grabbed his jersey. Here's the thing. I wish, Drew, that I had anyone in the world that would defend me as much as people defend coaches for whatever it is they do. Like, I'm not saying it's the worst thing in the world. I like Tom Izzo. But you're never going to convince me a coach needs to put his hands on a player, like ever.
Yeah.
At the same time, player needs to not get in the coach's face. I mean, I think they both were kind of in the wrong. But it's amazing to me, I say this all the time, how many people are just like, you don't like tough coaching, Matt. Like, in no other realm of society, we don't let science teachers put their hands on their students.
No.
Do we?
What if a student got up and yelled at the science teacher?
You don't let a science teacher grab them. They just won't. You won't be able to do that. I mean, I'm just saying. Look, do I think it's the worst thing in the world? No, it's not the worst thing in the world. I'm sure they were fine. Like, I'm not furious about it. But also, look, like, we've got to get past the point that it's cool for adults to be grabbing people who work for them.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I agree.
You know, I mean, when that happens, you get in trouble.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't do it if you're a coach.
I was kind of surprised. I've always kind of thought Izzo is pretty level-headed, but then that's back-to-back tournaments we've seen him.
That's 2 tournaments in a row they've had. I will say this. They must like each other because no group of people screams at each other more than Michigan State players and coaches.
They were fighting the whole
They fought the whole game. I mean, every time they showed the sideline, they were all screaming at each other.
Yeah.
People say, well, that's just good coaching. Well, they did lose.
True.
Lost and just yelled at each other the whole time.
It's just an odd thing. Draymond Green, though, he wrote, this is just normal. Like, Draymond Green's not also drama all the time. I always thought of Michigan State kind of as like the everybody always says, Izzo's everybody's second favorite coach to their coach.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. But it does feel like in the last few years, it's just a constant string of drama there, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember much happening, but that kind of started it last year, the tournament last year, when that is what happened.
And they've been fighting all year. Like, this has been happening all year during their games. So, anyway, maybe that's why they're out with a senior. I mean, they got seniors. Like,
they're supposed to have a good year.
They should have been good this year. They should have been like top 5 or 10. I mean, so should we, but, you know.
And, of course, we KSR cursed them. Didn't we pick them to the Sweet 16 out of the play-in game?
Well, I picked the winner of Michigan State. UCLA could still go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all those games were free picks.
Yeah, well, you have to pay for our picks to get the winner.
I'm excited for your Oklahoma today. You had them winning it all, didn't you?
Well, I picked them to beat Gonzaga in the second round, and then everybody sent me messages, oh, by the way, you know their point guard's out with COVID. No, I didn't know that.
Another curse. We should pick the first 4 games and see if we get all of them wrong.
Okay.
Because that might be what happens. Who's up first?
Dub,
how are you, Dub?
Hey, I'm doing great, Matt. How y'all today?
Doing good.
Hey, real quick question. With Title IX in sports, women and men equality a woman can wear a ponytail, why can't a man wear a mullet?
Well, first of all, you got a lot of times people just say Title IX and think it explains everything. Title IX applies to universities. All right, it applies to college universities, so it doesn't apply to Meade County. All right, but with that said, there's a lot of things women are allowed to do. They do not say that men and women have to be treated equally or the same. Hang on just a second. Hang on just a second, Doug.
Okay. You got it.
They say that the law says they have to be treated equally. It doesn't say they have to be treated the same. Okay? So, listen, I think they should be able to wear mullets. I think it's stupid. But there are reasons you treat men and women differently, and I don't want to get it. Please don't write me and go, man, your party doesn't
I don't want
to hear any of that stuff. Like, I don't want to. I'm just saying to you, the law says you have to treat people equally. That doesn't mean you have to treat them the same.
Sure. And don't forget Blake Shelton and his mullet.
Oh, that's a good one.
Blake Shelton had a mullet early on.
Yeah.
Mario Lopez.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another good one.
Ooh, so like Saved by the Bell, Mario Lopez.
Like
Ooh, that's a really good one. That's
Uh-huh.
a good one. I appreciate it, Dub. Thank you very much.
Hey, y'all have a blessed one.
You as well, sir.
Does Title IX apply? Like I saw those pictures last night of the men's workout room in Indianapolis and then the women's workout room.
That's a very
in San
good
Antonio.
question. Because, first of all, that was ridiculous. The women's workout room was like 7 weights and a yoga mat.
It's like a Holiday Inn gym.
I mean, no, the Holiday Inn gyms are better than what they had. So the NCAA is embarrassed, and they should be, about what the women's thing looks like. I don't know. So Title IX applies to universities. I don't know if it applies to the NCAA.
Okay.
I actually think it does not. If it did, again, you have to give equal opportunity. You don't have to be treated the same. Right, and so it has been interpreted in courts to mean you got to give equal scholarships to men and women.
Right,
but that doesn't mean you have to. For instance, universities don't have to put the same amount of money into the men's program, in the women's program, as they do the men's. I mean, think about it. Kentucky, we spend a lot more money on the UK men's team than the women's team.
True,
brings in a lot more.
It just has to have equal opportunity. With that said, though, forget about the law. It was embarrassing to look at those pictures of the women's locker room.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody exposed that because that is an embarrassment to the NCAA that women's workout area was just, like you said, 7 weights and a yoga mat.
And then did you see the bedspreads with all the gifts they get? The men's is just covered in gifts. Awesome stuff. And the women's is like a T-shirt and a towel and a cup.
See, they deserve – I mean, it is embarrassing.
Yeah.
I mean, you said Holiday – it is worse than a Holiday Inn.
Then the men's
and they have to be there
room
for a month. You know, I mean, you can't they need to be able to work out, right? I mean,
we saw the men's workout room. It looked like an elaborate gym here in town or something. You know, so they had to work out in.
50257, Dwayne Shinsis.
No, that's a good one.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And Dwayne Shinsis might be the best basketball one.
Best basketball mullet.
Is there a better basketball mullet? Did DeClerc have one?
I vaguely remember one.
Have we ever had a mullet at Kentucky?
Oh.
I cannot think of a UK basketball. Well, did Richie have a little one when he got here, or did he cut it off?
I think it could have been defined as like a baby starter mullet.
Actually, I think Eddie may have made him cut it off.
After he got here?
I'm not sure we've ever had one here because I think when they were popular, our coaches wouldn't let them do it, and then they weren't popular anymore.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I'm not sure we've ever had one. I bet we've had a football mullet.
It seems like Jay had, but I think his was just long hair. It wasn't really a mullet. It was just kind of just long hair.
You here for the games and stuff? Okay, I'm on the radio. I can't answer your questions. I'll just ask if you were here for the games. 502-571-1080 because we're not open yet. 502-571-1080. Text machine 772-774-5254. Look at Rick over there on the TV.
Yeah.
You think they keep it close?
No.
I don't.
I don't either. We'll take a break. Be right back. It's Kentucky Sports Radio.
To talk to Matt Jones and the crew, call the Clark's Pump and Shop phone line at 502-571-1080 or 1-877-904-1080.
Don't tell my heart, my achy breaking heart.
Thanks for listening to Kentucky Sports Radio on Talk Radio 1080.
The amount of mullets coming in are amazing. First of all, let me just say I did say one thing wrong. I want to correct. Title IX does apply to high schools. So I actually didn't realize that. With that said, my analysis is still the same. About equal opportunity, that doesn't mean you have to treat them the same. But it does apply to high schools.
That's why I remember a lot of high schools had to add a couple sports.
Well, colleges have to do that all the time.
Yeah.
in college it's interpreted as you have to give equal amount of scholarships, which is why there are more women's teams than men's teams on almost every campus because football takes 85 scholarships.
Understood.
So, Randy Johnson.
Great baseball mullet.
John Kruk.
Those are two awesome baseball mullets.
The mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, Shannon.
Yeah, that's a great one. We forgot Ricky Morton, too, another great wrestling mullet.
Ricky Morton still has one. Ricky Morton's kid's coming with us at some point. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. That's for you, Shannon. Mel Gibson, he had one?
Yeah, he had some in one of his earlier movies.
Kind of that early 90s mullet.
Yeah.
Chuck Norris. Freddie Maggard had one at UK.
Saw the picture.
Maggard had a great mullet.
Did you know that? Drew Schlegel was on the team last year and had one.
A beautiful mullet.
But great. Didn't play a lot of minutes, but he was in. You knew it. Special teams.
Did Jamel Martinez have one?
Everybody's saying yes. I got several messages saying, yeah, Jamel Martinez.
He cut it off by the end, but I think he had one at the beginning.
Well, we reminded Rex Chapman had one for a little bit when he was here.
Really?
Yeah.
How do I not remember that?
Just a little baby
I remember
mullet.
Rex's little patch in the back.
John Daly.
Yeah. Those are some really good ones.
South Carolina quarterback Steve Tannehill.
Yes. Absolutely.
That was one of the famous ones.
Yes.
Thank you, Meade County, for the radio topics.
Some good mullet talk. Remember, we're opening here at 11. You can come get your seats for the games. Remember, if you get here before 12:15, you can get in for that first game. I have a feeling as the day goes on, there'll be more and more people. Your chance to win the $100 might be the greatest of the first game.
That's right.
Florida, Virginia Tech. I actually think that's your best chance. Indiana fans are starting to believe that they're getting Brad Stevens.
I had a guy sent me some message board chatter.
No, it's all message board chatter.
Yeah, that it is not out of the realm of possibility that Brad Stevens is
They're claiming he's considering a 7-year, $50 million deal. It would make him the second highest paid coach behind Cal.
Well, that's what they were going to have to do. They were going to have to throw money at him to leave the Celtics to come to pick up a fledgling Indiana program.
So are you buying it?
I can believe he's talking to him, but I don't believe he'll leave.
What about you, Drew?
I still think it's really hard for him to time it right. Maybe they'll wait. I could see him doing it if the schedules were a little more aligned, but
remember this year it's going even later, the NBA, because it started the NBA's going till July. Now they may be out before July, but it's normally he'd be done in May.
Yeah.
And if they probably won't make the finals, but if they did, it'd be July.
He couldn't wait that long to join the Indiana program.
Could he?
No, he'd miss out on all that recruiting.
No, but I mean, if behind the scenes he assures them just sit tight and I'll be there. I mean, I think they're in 8th place, so it could be a quick exit. But I mean, maybe I just think it'd be hard. I don't see him as the type that would jump ship early anywhere.
I just feel like it's awesome because they're getting their hopes up and it's not going to happen. I mean, doesn't it feel like that's what's going to happen, Ryan?
Yes.
They're getting their hopes up and then he won't come.
Like we talked about, though, they have the donors that could probably come up with this money to throw at him to at least make him consider it.
Well, they believe it's happening. Like, if you go, just Google Brad's on Twitter, put Brad Stevens' name into Twitter. It's all Indiana fans going, he's coming, got a source. This goes back to the, they bought a horse farm days.
Yeah.
Steve Spurrier. Indiana fans have all convinced themselves he's coming.
I always wondered, did Billy Donovan and Steve Spurrier ever sell those horse farms that they bought here in Fayette County?
I'm not sure about that. I don't know if
they ever sold them or not.
So, all right, so none of you believe it'll happen?
No. I think he's talking to him. I think he'll listen and talk to him, but I don't think he's leaving.
I was trying to think how many coaches have voluntarily left the NBA for college. Could have kept their job and left. There are coaches who, saw the writing on the wall. They were about to get fired or got fired. Rick Pitino, when he left the Knicks and came to Kentucky, is the only one I can think of in the last 30-some years. He could have kept the Knicks job.
Sure.
Now, the Celtics was a different situation. But he was doing decent with the Knicks, and he left and came to Kentucky. Can you think of another one that has voluntarily left an NBA job to come to college?
No, not right off the top of my head.
Can you? I cannot think of one. I'm not saying there's not. I just can't think of one.
No, not at all. Rick didn't even come to mind.
Well, I'm right about that, right? Rick could have kept that Knicks job.
Oh, yeah.
And he still came.
Yeah, he was having success there, and CM Newton just went and got him.
That's ultimately, what was that, 1990 or 1989 is when he hired him? It's hard for me to believe that that's going to happen, but we'll find out, won't we?
The only thing, like we were saying, the Celtics are kind of struggling a little bit, so maybe he is a little disgruntled. At least he's going to listen to
Celtics
Indiana.
fans are angry at him.
Yeah.
But they ain't going to fire him. I mean, he could have that job next year if he wants it.
I think so.
So, we'll see. Who's next?
Andy.
Andy, how are you, Andy?
Doing good. Title IX is what we're doing next year. First, I just want to say.
I hope you're right, Andy.
That's when I think of Title IX, that's the only thing I'm thinking of. I got two questions. First is, do you put any truth into these rumors that Garrison Brooks from North Carolina is transferring here?
I'll be honest with you, Andy. I don't make anything not happen or anything happen, to be quite frank with you. I think the roster is completely up in the air. I think I've heard in the last week, I've heard 50 rumors. The only one I buy is I think they'll have Justin Powell if the SEC transfer rule changes. Beyond that, man, I mean, just take like B.J. Boston and Davion Mintz. I've had two people that I trust, two people that have given me great information on B.J. Boston have told me the exact opposite thing.
Really?
One person said to me, Matt, it is over. He is leaving. The other person said to me, Matt, 95% chance he comes back. And they're both 100% confident about it. So, like, my view, this is my view. I think Cal, in his mind, isn't even sure what's going on. And I think he's going to take a couple weeks to get himself. So I think everything people are hearing is kind of, you know what I mean, Drew? It's kind of scatterbrained. I don't think Cal even knows for sure what he's going to do.
And you got to work quick, but not too quick, because I think as teams start exiting the tournament, you're just going to get even more names in that pool, and you don't want to take a Garrison Brooks or whoever you want to name, and then suddenly some megastar all of a sudden wants to go to Kentucky.
And remember, like, it feels like we'll be behind, but normally at this time of year we're playing in the tournament. Normally, like Normally, we don't get our roster set till the end of April.
We're not even having these conversations.
These conversations, we're getting ready to play in the first round, right? So it feels like, hey, we got to do something. But honestly, Andy, I think we have a lot of time.
Yeah, everything's going on seems like to be all pretty much chaos right now. The last thing, and I'll hang up after I'm done. The question most asked 2 years ago was whether you're going to run for Senate during the off-season summer. Then last year it was running. No, I know. I'm just saying, last year the most asked question was, are we going to have a football season because of COVID? What do y'all think the most asked question during the off season and this summer is going to be? And
you know what I get asked more than anything? Be honest with you, is Rex going to run for Senate?
Really?
I get asked that all the time.
Yeah. Is that the new?
Well, I mean, question? I think I honestly think he's considering it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to do it. I think Charles Booker's going to run.
Yeah.
And if he runs, that's who I'll be for.
But here's why.
but I think that's the one I always get. I have no idea what he would do. As far as basketball, I think the question is Boston and Mintz, right? Isn't that the question?
Right now, and then the next question for the rest of the summer is Cal really going to change? Is Cal going to change his offense?
I think it's Boston and Mintz. Who's going to be our quarterback?
Yeah.
Right. See, that's another one. I have people swearing to me that all three of those guys will be the starter.
I've heard it too.
I think on the coaching staff that you get different opinions.
Well, that's why your percentages yesterday I thought were pretty dead on.
I mean, I know people who say Gatewood's better than Bo. I know people that say Bo's better than Gatewood, and then I know people who say it's Levis no matter what happens. And so, Drew, I have no idea.
And I don't think when it comes to that, I don't think there's a person on the planet that knows, because I think that will go weeks into fall camp. I don't even think Mark Stoops has a clue. He might be leaning away, but these guys are going to play that one out.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I mean, that'll be one of those that we'll guess throughout the year, and I think we'll get a different guess every time. I assume, Shannon, you haven't heard from the London mayor.
Nope, haven't yet.
My Corbin mayor just sitting there by the phone, Susie.
I give her credit. I talked to her yesterday. She seems like a nice person.
Very nice. Yes, very nice.
And, yes.
She had when WWE was in Corbin, she got in the ring and named some dude Corbin Day for this dude, whoever it was. We got to ask her about that.
And then stunned him?
Yeah, and then picked him up and flipped him over.
Yeah, well, she named us Corbin Colonels. You remember that?
Uh-huh.
So
we like her.
You're on the clock, Mirror Rudder. Come on.
Mirror Rudder. 502-571-1080. We're going to open the doors here and get ready for some basketball action. Going to be a great day here today. You going to hang out a while?
Oh, yeah, with Tim from Powell County.
Oh, Tim from Powell County is going to be here. I'd forgotten about it. We'll come back. Hour number 2. Ramel Bradley will join us when we return. This is KSR.
I saw a werewolf with a Chinese man.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
My dad used to say that.
Sure, yeah. It's from Geico.
Yeah, whenever I would ask my dad for life advice, he'd sit me down and say, son, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. And look at me now, a well-adjusted adult with a drawer full of plastic bags I'll never use.
Okay, I'm confused. Was your dad a licensed Geico agent?
Nah, he was just a real good dad.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.